Welcome along, fellow time travelers and strange historians. This time around, we're going to travel back in time to check out some of my favorite photos of David Bowie's Beckenham flat. You're going to see some really cool snaps, some of which you may have never seen before. Before I begin, please like and share this episode and subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell. Now please join me around the campfire. David Bowie's home in Beckenham, which he famously referred to as Haddon Hall, played a significant role in his life and career. You see, it was not only a residence but also a creative hub and a meeting place for various musicians and artists of the time. David and Angie Bowie moved into Haddon Hall in 1969. At the time, Bowie was on the cusp of fame, and the house served as their family home. The flat became a central location for Bowie's artistic endeavors. Not only did he live there, but he used the house as a space for writing and rehearsing music, and so it played a pivotal role in the development of some of his most iconic albums, including The Man Who Sold the World in 1970. During his time there, he collaborated with a variety of musicians, including Mick Ronson, Tony Visconti, and producer Ken Scott. The house's atmosphere and the creative community that gathered there had a profound impact on Bowie's music and artistic evolution. It was during this period that he developed the Ziggy Stardust persona, which of course would become one of his most iconic characters. Haddon Hall was the setting for the creation of several notable songs and albums such as Space Oddity, The Man Who Sold the World, and Hunky Dory. Together they worked on the music that would become part of his early 1970s albums. Bowie penned the majority of the Hunky Dory album in his ground-level residence at Haddon Hall. Haddon Hall was an expansive Victorian mansion situated adjacent to a Beckenham Park and golf course. The location exuded a quintessential suburban ambiance, with a bustling main road in the front and serene countryside in the rear. The mansion itself was a striking sight, a colossal villa enveloped by numerous balconies, featuring a magnificent stained glass window that offered panoramic views of the park. Originally known as, I think it's pronounced Pedestice, this remarkable residence had been constructed by the Price family, who were known for their candle-making endeavors. Bowie's landlord, a gentleman named Mr. Hoy, was the property's caretaker, and legend has it that he inherited the house somewhat begrudgingly after the Price family bequeathed it to him as a way to exclude certain descendants from the will. Hoy imposed a rent of approximately £14 per week on Bowie, which of course David Bowie was happy to pay. During this period, Bowie shared the residence with Angie and their infant son, Zoe, later known as Duncan. Additionally, several future members of the band that would eventually be christened the Spiders from Mars also resided there. It served as an excellent venue for gatherings, with notable visitors including fellow musicians like Roy Harper and Mark Bolan. Bowie adorned the house with an assortment of antiques, including a grand piano, upon which he began composing some of the iconic melodies that graced the album Hunky Dory, such as Changes and 8-Line Poem. The most prominent feature of the house was a grand staircase that greeted visitors immediately upon entering. In old photographs from the Price family era, it appears reminiscent of something one might find in a National Trust property. Now you're probably wondering about the name Haddon Hall, aren't you? Well, Bowie named the house Haddon Hall after Haddon Hall in Derbyshire, England, which is a historic mansion known for its Tudor and Elizabethan architecture. And here you can see some images of that. The name added a touch of grandeur and mystique to this suburban residence. Check out this photo that was taken by Peter Stone in April of 1971. We witnessed David Bowie standing gracefully outside the magnificent Haddon Hall. The Victorian Gothic mansion, nestled on South End Road in Beckenham, Kent, provides a stunning backdrop for the singer. Bathed in the warm embrace of sunlight, Bowie exudes an aura of intrigue and mystery. His unique style seamlessly merges with the grandeur of his surroundings. Bowie stands as the epitome of artistic expression, and of course Haddon Hall itself adds an additional layer of fascination to this scene. Its intricate architectural details and imposing presence beautifully complement Bowie's avant-garde persona. Like so many other historic mansions owned by creative celebrities, its role is more than that of just a setting. It becomes an extension of their creative spirits. As you look further at this snapshot, we're reminded of Bowie's profound impact on music and fashion during that era. He had this unwavering commitment to pushing boundaries and challenging societal norms that continue to resonate even to the present day. The essence of the house's architecture, its grandeur, its eccentricities, faded opulence, and its picturesque setting, served as a source of inspiration for Bowie's album Hunky Dory, which exuded a distinctly English character, oscillating between intimate, internal themes, and grandiose drama. Jeff McCormick, David Bowie's old school friend, once said, quote, "The house was very theatrical and grand. That created a certain energy to the creativity. This huge staircase with balconies on each side. The ultimate staircase to descend or ascend. It was the perfect venue to have big ideas in. It counts, all that stuff. It counts." End quote. And I agree with him completely. You guys hear me talk about this all the time. Design psychology. Your environment, your workspace affects you mentally. And you need to create the best environment you can for the benefit of your productivity. Angie Bowie said the following, quote, "As you might expect, Haddon Hall is a thoroughly Victorian edifice. Solid red brick, ornately embellished with solemn white facades, and of course righteously haughty church-like in basic concept, so much so that the dominant feature of the rear face is a huge stained glass window. The front is almost as imposing. The door opens, and the first thing you see is that magnificent stained glass window rising above a short staircase at the far end of a central hallway, fully 40 feet wide by 60 feet long." End quote. The flat holds a special place in David Bowie's history, and its significance in his life is often remembered by fans and historians as a pivotal location in his artistic journey. It's important to note that while Haddon Hall was a crucial location in Bowie's career, he eventually moved on from this house, and it was sold to a new owner. Over the years, of course, it changed hands and it underwent a lot of renovations, but finally in the 1980s, the house was demolished and replaced with apartments. David Bowie's time there represents a fascinating chapter in the life of one of the most influential and iconic musicians of the 20th century. And the house itself is remembered as a place where many of his most enduring works were conceived. So, what do you think of the flat that David Bowie called Haddon Hall? Would you live in a place like that? By the way, I do not know who took some of the photos that I have shown in the show. So if you do, please let me know so I can respectfully give them the credit that they deserve. At this point, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this time travel adventure to check out some of my favorite photos of historic rock and pop star mansions. Kindly remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Please check out the links below to learn how to support my research and productions. Specifically, I'd really appreciate if you could become a member of my channel and or join me on Patreon. You could also leave a super thanks in the comments below. Kindly be kind to all non-human animals and please don't eat them. They don't like that. Remember, for the benefit of compassion for all living things and their own health, all of the Beatles chose a plant-based diet. And please do yourself a favor and go to a local shelter and adopt a cat or a dog. You and they will be very glad that you did. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.